And welcome back everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a great break, hope you enjoyed yourself, hope you enjoyed that intro video as well. It's always a lot of fun, it always hypes me up. Shout out to ESL, they have a couple of intro videos, and yeah, it was really cool that they were able to, you know, bring that together. They've been using that for a couple of years now, it's always a lot of good fun. And we're here for the second half of the broadcast for ESL Masters Summer Group B of the open brackets, and there's a little bit of a story behind this portion of the bracket. So fun fact, of course, we casted day one live a couple of weeks ago, and we had to pick and choose between Group A and Group B. And as you can imagine, I was casting with Asher at the time, and Asher, he desperately wanted Group B. He was like, Papi, there's only one Terran player here, there's only one, we have to cast him. I'm like, I'm putting my foot down, okay? Like, Group A was looking a little bit more competitive, and I think it was the good choice in the end, because we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with Group A. Here in Group B, there is one Terran player in the entirety of the open bracket, and that is HeRoMaRinE. He's the only Terran player, one Terran player amongst the 32 that we had in the open bracket of ESL Masters. But he is also the clear favorite. He's big. For a reason. He's big, he's huge. He is HeRoMaRinE, and yeah, there were a couple of big names that were, of course, in the open bracket. Players like Ragnarok, Creator, Nightmare, HeRoMaRinE, and it's going to be on everyone else in this group to stop him, to somehow slow him down and bring him down, if at all possible. HeRoMaRinE, of course, for a long time was the #2 Terran player in Europe. I would say that Spirit is now vying for that #2 spot. I remember I've had this discussion with Asher before, and he's of the opinion that that we still need more time for Spirit. Like, Spirit has been more in form, has been more dominant. He has been even beating HeRoMaRinE in these tournaments. He beat him at Katowice, and he's beating him whenever they've been facing off since as well. But it's about, you know, how long can Spirit keep this up? Is this merely like a brief moment where Spirit is peaking, or is he actually just overall more consistent and more of a solid player? Only time will tell when it comes to Spirit. Until then, of course, HeRoMaRinE is still one of the best that Europe has to offer, and yeah, he's a pretty damn good player. So we'll see if he can be stopped, if he can be slowed down. Our first matchup, of course, is going to be HeRoMaRinE versus Arrogfire. It is going to be that TvP. Oh boy. And we were casting Nightmare earlier. Nightmare is lying in wait in a qualifying match. He's waiting for the winner of a couple of rounds, and we'll see who does face him in the end, as game one will be taking place on Babylon. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Of course, one Terran against a sea of Protoss and Zerg. Can he stand strong? Can he make it through into the main event? We had to find out. Oh boy. If you watched, you know, but we'll see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Babylon, we have the German Terran player representing Mouse Esports, or now Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss player representing his brand new team, Macherino Esports. It is Arrogfire. Let's go. A shout out to Macherino Esports as well. For those wondering, for those that are maybe older school viewers, you may be familiar with Alpha X, and Alpha X used to be a prominent team in the scene. Arrogfire alongside Future, Estrella, Demi, they were all Alpha X was a pretty big team. They had a lot of players from around the world. Alas, Alpha X has since disbanded. They disbanded a couple of months ago at this point. They did release their pro roster. I think they still have an amateur team. Like, I think they still have like diamond players. Like, they still have a community of like diamond players and platinum players and masters players, for example. But they no longer have a pro team. And in the ashes of Alpha X did rise Macherino Esports. Macherino Esports, they acquired not all of Alpha X's players, but a good portion of them. They picked up Estrella, they picked up Demi, they picked up Future, and they also picked up Arrogfire. So really is cool to see. I think it's also public information that initially Alpha X were in talks with HeRoMaRinE Esports for like a merger, for like maybe like a partnership, but in the end it didn't pan out, and HeRoMaRinE Esports they just made their own team. They just made their own team instead. So it's really cool to see HeRoMaRinE to not just invest in tournaments. For those who don't know, they are a platform that does house a lot of online events, and they've sponsored many StarCraft events in the past. They're continuing to sponsor events as they are the main sponsor or the second sponsor for the Africa Champions Cup. So they don't just host events anymore, but they also have a pro team, which is pretty sick. Pretty damn sick. Meanwhile, we're getting into this game, and we do have HeRoMaRinE going for a Rax expand. Only a single gas guys are being taken, so a very economic start here. Oh my god! These European Terrans. Clem was doing this the other day as well. It's not just a Rax expand. He's going for a very greedy, a very fast third CC behind this as well. The confidence here by Big Gabe is crazy as he sets up for a 3Rax behind this. Again, we were lucky enough to cast Clem versus MaxPax a couple of days ago in ESL Open Cup Americas, and Clem was doing the exact same thing, just hyper greedy stuff, and MaxPax was able to punish Clem, as we do have the Adept being fended off here for the time being. Arrogfire not quite able to get a full scout off, but does at least see the CC, so he knows about the Rack expand at least. He knows about the economic opener. He doesn't know how greedy HeRoMaRinE is being. Now, to bring us back to a couple of days ago, MaxPax did punish Clem pretty hard. Clem won in the end, because of course he did. he made MaxPax look a fool, not gonna lie, as he 3-0'd MaxPax a couple of days ago. MaxPax did punish this opener though with 4-gate Blink Stalker. With 4-gate Blink Stalker, he was hyper aggressive. He was able to punish the fact that this is a 3-Rax, so there's no tanks, there's no Widow Mines. He shaved off a lot of Marines, he blinked up into the main, he was causing havoc, killing workers. Like, MaxPax did really well at punishing this, and you can punish this. We'll see if Arrogfire can do the same as, oh, he's going for an economic opener. Arrogfire is going for a 2-gate Blink into a 3rd Nexus, so HeRoMaRinE is going to get away with this. On top of that, Arrogfire doesn't know about the 3-Rax. So HeRoMaRinE, he won't just get away with greed, he's also going to hit a very potent stim timing, and Arrogfire needs to get eyes on this sooner rather than later, as there's that 3rd Nexus. Again, economic openers all around, just HeRoMaRinE getting away with a lot more. Far more indeed, as Arrogfire is still in the dark. He does shade in with an Adept, and he does see the additional Raxes, so this is a pretty crucial scout from Arrogfire. There we go, an Immortal does start up. He knows that now his opponent is going to be hitting a stim timing. He needs as many units as possible. He should be working towards a Colossi, but before that happens, we're at least going to be pumping out Immortals just to make sure we have some kind of standing army. Soldiers of Arrogfire move out, and they're looking to slow this down, chip away at the Marines, pick off whatever we can before HeRoMaRinE gets across the map. But again, HeRoMaRinE isn't even being that assertive, that aggressive, just because he's already transitioning, he's already got that 3rd CC, he's on par with the worker count of the Protoss, which is never a good thing for Protoss. HeRoMaRinE actually ahead at this point, and soon we'll be taking that 3rd base. As Arrogfire was essentially baited into making these Immortals. So Immortals in TvP are great defensively, and they're pretty necessary in this situation just because you need some kind of standing army to defend against the push of the Terran. But ideally, you don't want to make them. Ideally, you want to skip them. You want to be... see a bit of a scan. Ideally, you want to skip them. Ideally, you want to be going into Colossi, into Disruptors. Like, there's just so many more valuable tech units available for the Protoss. And HeRoMaRinE isn't even pushing right now, because he doesn't need to, because he's got a 3rd base on the way. So Arrogfire, he gets baited into, in a way, wasting resources making those Immortals. As we do have a little bit of a Marine counterattack, the wall is not a wall that we do stim on forward. We get into the middle line, and there's no reaction. Oh boy, a lot of damage is about to be done. Only a handful of Marines, 6 Marines, they get 4 probes, they dive into the main base as well. There is no shield battery, the Stalker is not going to be going down, solid blink there, but the probes are being focused one after the other. HeRoMaRinE, he doesn't just get away with an economic opener, he also cripples the economy here of Arrogfire. Cripple is maybe a strong word, but he does do a decent amount of damage here. 9 probes go down. At the same time, the Marauders are looking to try and split apart the attention of Arrogfire, but no, we do have an Immortal here at the third base. Arrogfire will defend. Oh. And HeRoMaRinE is going to race back home. Again, every single stim does hurt him. Because it's a 3-racks, that does mean that there are no medevacs. Medevac production is just now about to commence. And HeRoMaRinE doesn't want to throw anything away, so he's going to be chilling here at home until said medevacs come out, and then he can go for some drop play. We can see HeRoMaRinE just enjoying a 10-worker lead over his opponent. And Arrogfire looking to, come back in this game. No Bay, by the way. No splash damage, no Colossi. I'm a little bit shocked, especially against a 3-racks opener. I feel like Colossi are a must. As we stim on forward. Oh, bold move by HeRoMaRinE. He moves forward before his medevacs come out. And he does lose a good chunk of his army. Marines full, Marauders as well. Yeah, a bit of an anti-timing here from HeRoMaRinE. He does stim on forward once again. Picks off a Stalker, but he bleeds out so much. HeRoMaRinE maybe not respecting his opponent enough. Finally, the medevacs have hit the field, and they will be able to top off these units. But that was a decent moment for Arrogfire. Charge is done. The Zealot's setting up for a run by. We finally have the Bay on the way. This does feel a little bit later than we would have liked. God, and we have so many Marauders. Look how many Marauders we have. My God. Yeah, with these 2 tech labbed Raxes, we have how many? We have as many Marauders as we have Marines. My God. It's such a beefy army. As we move out across the map. Charge also being caught out as well. Not ideal here for Arrogfire, just bleeding out some of these units. Army has been spotted. Arrogfire is consolidating his army, looking for that fight. The first Colossi is on the horizon. This HeRoMaRinE is looking to lay siege upon the non-existent 4th base. Goes for a scan. He's looking for the army. Does come across it. Should be feeling pretty good about the fact that there's still no splash damage, but he is going to respect that. He is going to back off. Behind this, throwing down the 4th CC. Continuing to pump out more Marauders, Marines, Widow Mines. And HeRoMaRinE is soon to max out. As long as he doesn't lose too much here. Just to be careful here with this army. First Colossi comes out. We have a Robo on the way for double Colossus production. At this point, against this many Marauders, I'll be honest, it may just be worth skipping the Colossi and going straight for Disruptors. Colossi don't do the most damage to Marauders, let's be real. They are very tanky units. As we do see HeRoMaRinE going for a second push here towards the southern portion of the map. Does get scattered by Arrogfire. He's going to be able to split off some of his army. Does keep his Colossi over on the right-hand side. Good pull away from HeRoMaRinE. The mine shots go off. The Zealots go down. We'll be respecting that overcharge. Once it runs out, though, HeRoMaRinE, he can keep on pushing. At the same time, the army on the right-hand side dives into the main. The Doom Drop is real. We do have Arrogfire trying to keep up. Looks like he's going to be able to defend his 3rd base, but the main, I'm not too sure. Yeah, we want to dive on top of the Colossi, already losing all its shields. Arrogfire does pull back in time, but no, the Colossi is barely going to be saved by the shield battery, but it's too much. GG gets called. And HeRoMaRinE takes game number 1 off of a very greedy opener. Again, an opener that was not punished. GG. Very well played there by HeRoMaRinE. Arrogfire just a little bit in the dark, was having a hard time keeping up, and was forced to play a little bit more inefficient than he would have liked as well, just because of his lack of information, really. Lack of information, lack of map presence, scouting. GG. Solid game there by Big Gabe, and now we're getting into game number 2. Outside of that, Arrogfire didn't look too bad. I was pretty impressed with how he was able to keep up overall, and for the most part, react to what he was seeing. Unfortunately, again, he wasn't quite seeing everything, right? Didn't know how far behind he was economically. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Which will be taking place on Royal Blood. Now, I don't imagine we're going to be seeing a faster TC like we did in Game 1. I don't think we're going to be seeing that again, but we'll see. We'll see what our Terran has in store for us. As spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the German Terran player representing Team Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. Oh, mate, Big Gabe. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss player representing Matcherino Esports. It is Arrogfire. Let's go. Again, HeRoMaRinE being very cheeky in that last game, going for a very greedy, very economic build with that faster TC. Arrogfire had no idea what was going on. Had no idea what was happening. Did eventually scout the 3-backs at least, but was maybe over-preparing for a push that was less committed than normal. Oh. So, a very well-executed build overall by HeRoMaRinE. But again, I expect something different here in Game 2. I expect us to switch things up. I expect Arrogfire to switch things up as well. As HeRoMaRinE this time goes for a double gas opener, so he's going to be delaying his CC, and he's going to be going into a faster factory instead. So more of a tech-heavy opener here from our Terran player. A stark contrast compared to Game 1, where he was hyper-greedy. And it shows that HeRoMaRinE, he has quite a wide breadth of playstyles, especially in this matchup. And there's definitely a lot that Terran can do here. Like, we can work towards a mine drop, we can go for even a 1-1-1 Banshee opener as well. Only for one Banshee. I know Bjorn is quite fond of that. We can set up proxies. For the most part, Arrogfire, he dips in and he confirms the opener. He sees the gases. Oh! Is denied entry into the main though. So he's not fully aware of what's going on. He didn't actually see the second gas, so for all he knows, it could be a CC on the high ground. So Arrogfire doesn't have full information right now. Still trying to piece things together. As we have a reactor on the way behind this, the Reaper is looking to hunt down that probe, but the probe does manage to avoid its grasp, avoid its eyes even. Probe trying to dip in for a second scout, trying to figure out if there is a CC on the low ground or what the initial units are going to be. And yeah, really nice movement here from Arrogfire. Does avoid that Reaper, does dip on in, and with this vision, does see the CC as well as that reactor. So he knows about the double gas opener. He knows that the CC was delayed, and the factory is out. Back at home, Arrogfire is going for a Twilight Council opener once again, just like that previous game. If you remember, in Game 1, he did go for a 2-gate open or 2-gate blink opener into a third base. This time, especially because HeRoMaRinE went for a double gas opener, I imagine Arrogfire is going to open up either 3-gate Blink Stalker or maybe even 4-gate Blink Stalker. We'll see. Behind this HeRoMaRinE, he's got his one Reaper and a Hellion as well, trying to scout, trying to figure out what his opponent is up to. Oh, you love to see it. HeRoMaRinE, he does grenade himself over the wall. He does bust into the main base of Arrogfire, gets scattered the tech, even able to disrupt the economy. At the same time, Hellion dives into the natural and won't be able to do too much damage. It doesn't get any kills, but again, a lot of lost mining time. Oh god! Probes? Pappy? Oh, there we go. Oh god. The Hellion even survives as well. Feels probe, man. As we are working towards a mine drop, the Widow mines are ready, medevac is on the way. HeRoMaRinE knows that because it isn't a Stargate opener, he doesn't really need to focus too much on defense. He knows that he should be safe and sound, even repairs that Hellion. You love to see it. Those probes earlier, their lives were flashing before their eyes because of that one Hellion. Not like this. Once again, another 2-gate blink opener into a third base. So once again, very economic here from Arrogfire. He's not going to be too aggressive at all. And from that scout from HeRoMaRinE, he also confirmed the lack of additional gateways. So he knows that his opponent's being very economic, and he confirms that as well with this Hellion. Does get eyes on the third base. Now the mine job is diving on in. We do have a reaction out of Arrogfire. He will be able to pull away in time. Up, up. Oof. Solid blink there. It looks like the first mine doesn't get too much damage. The second does barely get saved by that medevac. And, oh. Unfortunately, those throws were pulled all the way to the third base, so they do have to come back. And HeRoMaRinE is now ready to dive in once again with that medevac. Even if this medevac doesn't dive back in again, we are tying up some supply here. We're forcing some of these stalkers to stay in the main. As HeRoMaRinE moves out with his main army. We've got 2 tanks, a decent amount of bio. This does barely get spotted here by Arrogfire. He wants a tank! Up! And he's gonna get it. First tank is gonna be going down. A pretty big pickup, not gonna lie. That's a pretty big blow here to the army of HeRoMaRinE, but he shows up anyway, and we don't have too much else to defend. I'll be honest. Stalkers were out on the map. This Nexus is under threat. They're going to be coming in from behind. They do snipe that medevac. Well, with that auto turret, with this tank, it looks like the Nexus is going to go down. Oh, this is brutal. The entire build order of Arrogfire was designed to get a faster third base, and the third base goes down. We do see Arrogfire trying to clean up this army, trying to get something for his troubles, something for his third base. Like, he doesn't have any gateways. He can't necessarily counterattack too well. He has a decent army right now. He's going to be able to clean up these Marines. Should be able to get the tank. Again, getting a medevac, 2 tanks, and all those Marines, it's not bad here for Arrogfire. But he doesn't really have what he needs to counterattack. We have a Prism on the way. Auto turret getting ready to dive on in as well. Oof. Raven goes down. HeRoMaRinE has been bleeding out a lot, but back at home, we've got 2 tanks. We even have a tank ready in the main base in case Arrogfire does blink into said main. Marines, Marauders. Arrogfire can try to bully this, but yeah, HeRoMaRinE is well fortified. And as a result, Arrogfire is in a really rough position. He's attempting to recover. He has charge, I believe. Yep, we have +1 on the way. Arrogfire can at least contain his opponent, at least a little bit. Oh my god, as the Hellion randomly shows up. Okay, does get cleaned up though. I was able to scout and confirm the gateway explosion. That's a lot of gates on the way. 5 gates in total. Well, 5 gates on the way, 7 in total. But overall, HeRoMaRinE is a really good position. Look at the worker count right now. Look how far ahead he is economically once he does land that third base. And Arrogfire, he can't stop him. Third is being taken. HeRoMaRinE has 64 workers already. As we do get that Maynard. And the pressure is on Arrogfire. So earlier I was about to say that it may just be worth double expanding. But instead Arrogfire is looking at maybe try and harass here, maybe try and pull HeRoMaRinE apart. We have a Zealot run by on the right hand side. We have the Stalkers threatening the front door. Here we go. There's SC2 coming from behind. They're going to be able to get on top of the tank. Marines and Marauders start setting their lives out, their hearts out even, and the Zealots absolutely melt. Arrogfire, he just cannot touch this army. He gets 8 SCVs, which is nice, but HeRoMaRinE is still far ahead. This feels a little bit desperate, not gonna lie. We're diving on forward once again. Arrogfire losing his army does preserve his immortal at least, but HeRoMaRinE has double the supply at this point. Yeah, it was just a rough start here from Arrogfire. Like, losing that third was basically game ending for him. And the macro of HeRoMaRinE has just been so solid. It's been pretty crazy. It's good. He has over a 10 worker lead. If he wants to, he can throw down a 4th CC. You have an armory on the way for 2-2. And even though he could probably like send everything across the map, he's going to be looking to pick apart his opponent. We have another mine drop being sent across the map into that natural. The main army pushing through the center of the map. And do we have a reaction from Arrogfire? The answer is we do not. Oof. 3 probes go down in the natural. We have another mine drop into the main base at the same time. Arrogfire does force field the ramp. He's going to be able to buy a little bit of time. There's only 1 tank here for HeRoMaRinE, but there's so many Marines, so many Marauders. Mine does go off. As the force fields are doing a decent job at just cutting up the army and not allowing everything to attack at once, but we have reinforcements, Fafi. We have the reinforcements on the way. The mines, no, they get more shots off. We didn't even have another drop. They just reset. 15 probes go down. The Immortals are exposed. There is no splash damage, no storm, no disruptors. There we go. Storm does finish up just as the army falls. GG gets called. And HeRoMaRinE takes the series 2-0. Oh, GG. Very strong showing there out of HeRoMaRinE. Arrogfire, unfortunately, game 1 had a little bit of not even misinformation, just was lacking some crucial information of what HeRoMaRinE was up to. Here in game 2, unfortunately was caught out of position. He did get a free tank in the middle of the map, if you remember, but all of his stalkers were out on the map, and yeah, he wasn't able to stop HeRoMaRinE from just sieging up right on top of that base and taking down his 3rd. Oh, GG. GG, well played. And with that, HeRoMaRinE, he moves from one Protoss to another. He's going through the TvP gauntlet. Arrogfire falls. And we have a new challenger. It is going to be DNS. And I'm pretty excited for this. DNS is arguably like one of the star players for Platinum Heroes in World Team League. Like, we've been seeing so much from him in WTL, and it's been so impressive against both Zergs and Terrans. DNS, like, even if he loses series, like, there are like these sparks of like moments of brilliance. Like, there are these things that we look out for, and yeah, DNS has been really impressing us on the CranKy Ducklings, and I'm really curious to see how he can fare, how he can compare to HeRoMaRinE, especially after what we just saw, especially after what just happened to Arrogfire.